Well, what's going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It's very nice to have you here today. I have got something very cool on the table. Almost 20 years ago now, Benchmade released the 610 Rukus. And it's fantastic. I mean, it's enormous and it's heavy, and a lot of people probably don't like it for a lot of reasons, but I really like big knives, and this is just fantastic. It really is. The 610 back in the day was a couple $100. Nowadays, if they release this, knowing Benchmade, they'd charge $600 for it. It's a collector's bit. I will carry it and use it, but I'm not going to go out and thrash on it because, as I said, they're kind of hard to come by. So let's take a look at what you get. The basics are pretty straightforward. It's S30V. It's G10 and Micarta. It's just, look at the milling on the G10. Very straightforward. S30V blade. Relatively thick slice of it, though. It's got the traditional axis lock. It came factory with a nice deep carry clip, which means they used to know what they were doing. Now, this micarta is darker than it should be. That's oil. I cleaned it when I first got it because it was kind of dirty. And in the cleaning, I darkened up the micarta a little bit, but that's okay. I like the way it looks better. This is kind of a brown, really. Collecting knives is interesting. You can, collect the newest and the most interesting, the fanciest if you want, but I like Benchmade knives. And so I find myself digging around for old classic stuff at this point. I'll give you an example. This is the 530. This is a Mel Pardue design. This is 10 years old at this point. If you like the bug out, this is its grandfather. Ultralight, right? Grivery. I put a deep carry clip on it because I do that. Thin slice of S30V. Actually, I think this is 154. Yeah, this is 154 CM. We'll get to this in another video. Anyway, I like old Benchmades. So when this thing popped up, I said, yeah, let's bring that home. So let's take a look at what you get if you are interested in chasing down such a thing. You get 4¼ inches of cutting on a little over 4¼ inches of that S30V. Grip area from behind that swell is 4½ inches right there to that line. You can bring your finger forward if you want to. Tip to tail, we are talking about, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10¼ inches overall. I'll give you an example of how big this thing really is. You may be familiar with the full-size, full-size Crooked River. This is one of the bigger knives they've released in recent years. It is tiny. Okay, it's not tiny, but it's considerably smaller than the Rukus. I always say this when I'm talking about older knives. There was a time when companies like Benchmade and Spyderco were essentially fearless because nobody knew yet what the magic size thing was, right? At this point, most knives that come out are some variation in size on the bug out. Because that's the most pocketable, right? I mean, it's the most obvious. Right? This is the average size pocket knife at this point. But there was a time when companies kind of didn't care because not everything was so structured. Somebody at Benchmade said, let's make a big old knife. Somebody else at Benchmade went, yeah, okay. And then you get this. I like that. Closed length on the full-size Rukus. Just shy of 6 inches. This thing is a monster. Oh. And she pockets pretty well. You gotta have long pockets, man. I mean, but, you know, 1.5 inches at its widest for a 10-inch knife. Not too bad. Action's pretty good. Axis lock, as you can see. Excuse me. It's got a little bit of billboarding on the blade for the designer. It is very comfortable in hand. I love stuff like this. Let's do some size comparisons with knives you may be a little more familiar with. I'll line it up right there. How about a full-size Griptilian? Okay, I'm just kidding. What else do we have that's big on the table? Ooh, this is cool. This is the new Bison from Concept. This is a Laconico design. This is a big knife, not compared to the Rukus. I could buy all the newest knives. Well, God, today that would be buying 50 knives a week. They drop so fast, but this is the kind of thing that interests me. This knife was released originally in 2006. There was an internet, but not much. It wasn't like it is today. So can you imagine wandering into your local outdoor store, REI or a gun store or whatever, and there's this sitting there? I mean, it's fantastic. Now, recently, Benchmade released the Mini Bedlam, which isn't that mini. There is actually a small version of this, and I have one coming. It's the 615. It's the Mini Rukus. I'm curious to see where that thing is, you know, when compared to this. But maybe they'll re-release the Mini. That's much more suitable for the market today, and who knows? Maybe they'll bring these back. I mean, they brought back the Bedlam. Let's weigh it. Remember, it's a 10-inch knife. So, 7.8 ounces, it's not bad. For a 10-inch knife, it's not bad at all. 10.25, excuse me. I keep forgetting. What do you look for when you collect? Like, what interests you? Most of you that watch this channel aren't out here looking for the knife that you're going to carry out on your next camping trip. Some of you might be, in which case I hope you've found stuff for yourself in my reviews, but most of you are probably collectors to one level or another. What drives you? Is it the newest and the shiniest and the fanciest, or is it a particular designer, a particular feel? What is it? Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious. Back in the old days, they would have given you 3.6 millimeter, 3.7 millimeters, or 140 thousandths, which is not a bad slice of that S30V. I watched a video over on Metal Complex recently, and he was talking about S30V as a blade steel, about how people, oh, that's old, you know, they should move past that. This is excellent blade steel. Just because it isn't the newest thing in the world doesn't mean it's not good at what it did. I'm old enough to remember when this was the super steel. Because everything else was, you know, 420. Right? 420 HC. This was amazing. And it still is. Are there better steels? Sure. I mean, for $200 you can get a pyrite in S90V. And titanium. But for a working tool, there is nothing wrong with S30V. The combination of G10 and the micarta is a really nice touch. The milling, on the G10, which matches a little mostly, which I can talk, which matches sort of to the shaping on the micarta, is very nice. Thick steel liners. Look at the way this flares right here to keep your hand from sliding forward if you're holding onto it like this. It's got a lanyard hole in the back if you're into that sort of thing. It is totally ambi. You can flip the pocket clip to the other side. The pocket clip is just a nice flat, is like a straight line, so you don't got to worry about shape and all that other stuff. This is, I don't know, just a piece of history that makes me happy. So I ask again, what do you look for when you collect? Do you collect a brand? I don't know. Turns out I collect a lot of Benchmades. I really like them. I have some cool Spydercos too. I have another classic Benchmade coming. It's called the Vicar. Go ahead and look that up. I am dying to see how that thing is in hand. I've never actually even held one. I've seen the small one, or different, I can't remember, but I've never actually had the one I'm getting. It's kind of a dice roll. But this is why I collect. And when I was young, this was the kind of thing that made me go, oh yeah. I say young. I was 30, a little over 30, 35 when this came out. That was a long time ago. Anyway, this is the Benchmade Rukus. A bit of history that has found its forever home here in my collection, and I very much hope you've enjoyed this look at it. If you have any questions about this, or any of my knives, before I go, look at it. Can you see this? It's going to show up. The barrel spacers are actually milled a little bit. They're not just rounded. There's shaping to them. A little bit of jimping in the back. Nice and pokey, in case you want to give somebody a little bit of a stick to move them along. I love stuff like this. Today, if you want something like this, you're going to pay, $500-600, and you're going to end up getting what? You know who makes stuff like this still? Andre de Villers, ADV, is still making big, beastly knives like this. There are some other companies too, but they are few and far between. Anyway, this is the Benchmade Rukus. I know I've said that a few times, but, I am a Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at a piece of Benchmade history. I know I am happy to own it. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Otherwise, remember to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.